Hey, this is Josh. Today is Tuesday, August 8th. Pretty crazy day today. Strong sell to close bear trend day like last Friday. Second leg down on the higher time frame charts. Possible sell vacuum for the second leg down, and now the bulls are willing to buy again, is what it looks like. Prices are reversing up pretty strongly at this point. It was pretty interesting on the daily chart. So the bulls tried to fill this gap from the bear breakout from Friday. This was a high one buy setup. It's the first reasonable buy setup through here, but this is pretty climactic buying, parabolic buying. However, when the bulls could not fill the gap, I thought the bears may try for an outside down day, and turns out that that's what they got. Whether the day closes up or down, it's hard to say at this point. It may close as a doji. The EMA is a magnet at this point for the on this chart. It's been over 20 bars since prices have touched the EMA, and the last time we got a touch, we got to close below. So I'm thinking that we'll probably get we may end up getting a larger correction, but the bears have not at this time generated a strong sell signal for a reversal. However, this is climactic buying, so probably just going to go sideways for a little while. So today today opened in a small trading range, a very tight trading range. It looks very small after this sell-off, but so prices were in this, it was a bull flag trading range. There was another, the open was very similar to yesterday's open. There was a climax that had led to a two-leg correction and mostly sideways trading range. Strong by the close bull trend led to a buy climax and then a correction, but mostly sideways. So this was, I came in, I think right before this bar closed. I saw this as a weak high one near at the high of the trading range. No, it doesn't look right, but so anyway, so I saw this as a wedge bottom, 1, 2, 3 pushes down, and on the 60-minute chart there was a bull trend line in here, and there was also a converging triangle overnight. Small tight trading range, which we had a bull breakout, and then prices came back, tested the middle of the converging triangle, and tried to rally again. You can also consider this a major trend reversal from this small bull channel. So we had a bull channel in here, break and two-leg test of the high. So selling above this bar, I thought was a reasonable thing to do, but if you're willing to scale in, since it was near the high of the trading range. But I thought that we would get a second leg up from this small wedge bottom and double bottom with over here. So I was actually expecting a bull breakout and possibly a test of this close, but that's not what happened. And instead, we got this low 2 sell set up. The bulls needed one more bar to break above here for a bull follow through and break out of the bull flag trading range. So reverse down from the low 2, strong selling pressure, and these bulls scaled in 10 pips. So the by the close bulls bought this at 817, scaled in at 807, and were unable to reach the close on 3 attempts. So they tried here to reach the close, they tried again, and they tried again, and there was pretty strong buying pressure. These 2 bull bars reversed these 3 bear bars, outside bull bar reversed prior 3 bear bars, but the bulls were never getting follow through, and the bears were aggressively selling. This probably high enough probability for a scalp, but since it was pretty strong buying pressure overnight versus the selling pressure, look at the buying pressure here and the overlapping and weak selling pressure here. Overlapping bars, tails, very few consecutive bear bars, and then three bull bars reversed this 10 leg sell off. So I thought pretty strong buying pressure. Like I said, I was actually expecting this low 2 to fail and prices to test higher. So I did not take this sell setup. But it was probably high enough probability for a scalp. Um, like I said, you can consider it a major trend reversal and consider it taking it for a swing. However, you would have had to endure this several sideways pullback before reaching even a scalper's profit if you sold below on a stop. So in here, this became another converging triangle and at the same price level as this converging triangle. It was a tight trading range, less than 10 pips. Both sides, neither side were making scalper profits. Both sides were fighting for follow through. So pretty much the stop entries in here are swing trades because they're in the middle of this trading range, 50-50 probability. This was a low 2 and a failed high 2, but this was also a failed low 2 and a high 2. So like I said, 50-50 probability either way, either side you're entering on is 50-50 probability. This was a weak low 1 at the bottom of a trading range, reasonable to buy below, acceptable scalp. However, that's not it did not work, and strong bear breakout, which I'm going to talk about these trades in a minute, and while I'm going to go over my trades. So then big bear breakout, bear follow through, reasonable to sell this close for an always in short position, or an acceptable scalp, high enough probability for a scalp. Strong bear breakout, broke below below these lows, and it was possible that prices were going to come back and test the start of the channel, which was arguably here or here, which there was a strong bull trend line in here on the 60-minute chart. So it turned into a sell the close bear trend. This was a potential measuring gap. Turned out to be a breakout gap, and the measuring gap was, I think, this one. So this turned out to be the, so this one turned out to be the measuring gap, and this is the breakout gap, and then turned into a sell climax down here. But strong sell the close bear trend, reasonable to sell these closes if you're an aggressive trader, or if you had not gotten in up here, high enough probability to sell these closes for a scalp. Better to use a wide stop, be willing to scale in. It's a little too risky, I think, if you're trying to use a 10 pip stop to sell closes. I think if you're a sell the close or a buy the close trader, that you need to be using a wide stop like above here, because otherwise you tend to get stopped out too often if you try to use a 10 pip stop when you're selling closes, and even in a strong sell the close bear trend. So the sell the close bear trend ended here with this bull reversal bar. The bulls could not even tick above to trigger the buy setup. Instead, the bears sold the close. Turned into a small final flag. An attempt at a final flag here, which again failed, and prices evolved into this channel. Oops. So the bears got, so it turned into a small spike and bear channel. This was a failed, you can consider it a failed bull reversal. It's the first strong, I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but the bears will try to prevent a third consecutive bull bar from forming to prevent an always in flip. So it's pretty common for the bears to sell the second bull close, especially after a strong sell-off like this. They'll sell this close to prevent the always in flip. And that's what happened here. You can sell below this bar on a stop. It's a low 1 sell setup, but it's also a failed high 2 buy setup. Arguably high enough probability for a scalp, but probably better to take for a swing trade. I forgot to mention this low 1 sell setup. So here was a low 1 sell setup, but you're selling into the low after the end of the sell the close bear trend. So better to take for a swing short than a scalp. And you can see there it was temporarily buying below. So like I said, better to take for a swing short. So failed high 2. Market remains always in short. Very little buying pressure on this sell. So very little buying pressure up until this point. Got another low 2 sell set up here. It's a variant of another failed high 2. First entry, second entry could not trigger. Instead, sellers at the close of this bar, and you could not even get filled if you try to sell above this bar. So low 2 sell set up. It's off the bear trend line. It's a variant of a failed high 2, arguably high enough probability for a scalp, but since you're selling into the low, I'd say swing trade. This turned into a sell climax, bear trend channel overshoot. Reasonable. This buy setup for this swing buy, not great. Tail on top, pretty big risk. Buying near. This is the first bull target above the sell climax, so I think pretty risky to buy above this bar on a stop. However, it did not trigger anyway, and instead we got this second entry here, and that was a reasonable swing buy. Above for the second entry for the sell climax. It's also a failed low 1. An aggressive trader may consider buying below this bar if they're willing to scale in. I think you should be willing to scale in until prices flip to always and long, which occurred here. It is arguably the first break of this bear trend line, but it's 3 pushes down, 1, 2, 3 pushes down, and after a sell climax, which the bulls and bears took profits here. So this was a low 2 sell setup for such at the EMA and over 20 bars, but strong buying pressure. The market's now always in long. They're selling on a stop and against the always in position, which I'll talk about this in a second. Outside bull bar, bears tried for a failed failure and a wedge bear flag, tight trading range at this point, and a low 2 sell setup. Turned into a failure, and this making this a high 2 buy setup, failed low 2 buy setup. Trapped bears, arguably high enough probability for a scalp. I thought that maybe we were going to form a trading range up here or here. So better to take as a swing buy, looking for a second leg up from the sell climax, but probably high enough probability for a scalp. Bull entry, bull follow through turned into a small buy that closed bull trend. This was an acceptable scalp to buy below this bull bar with a limit order. Buying above here on a stop, I think it's probably not high enough probability for a scalp. It is a failed, you can consider it a failed low too. But at this point, prices are in a small trading range. And it's 2 legs up since the sell climax, so the bears theoretically could have come back in. So I don't think it's high enough probability to buy for a scalp above here. It's a high 1 buy setup. Better to take as a swing if you're buying above, but buying below here was an acceptable scalp. This is the measured move target based on this measuring gap here, somewhere around there. We came close on this bar, but since prices have drifted sideways, there's a chance that we get the bulls get a spike in bull channel. The bulls want to reverse this sell-off, and they, like I said, on higher time frame charts, they may, since this is 2 legs down, the first large 2-leg correction, it's possible this was a sell vacuum, and that the bulls are willing to aggressively buy again. So I forgot to mention, so these buy the close bulls, when they were unable to reach the close, it's possible that's what led to the strong sell-off. So I know that some of you like to hear what trades I took. So today was a pretty interesting day, so I'm going to talk about my trades. So like I said earlier, I was actually looking for a bull breakout of this trading range. So I did not take this sell setup. However, I did end up selling this close. I thought that after the failed bull breakout, and at that point I realized there was a possible major trend reversal. So I sold this close, stop above here, looking for a bear breakout. And then I realized that I had sold at the bottom of a trading range, and I thought that was stupid. Why did I do that? And so I relied on my stop. I did not. I could have exited break even here, and I did not because I thought I saw that these buy the close bulls were trapped. This is a reasonable start of a second leg down. So I was thinking probably get a second leg down from here. So I did not exit break even here. I relied on my stop. I think at that point I may have tightened my stop to above here. And then I ended up exiting break even. I don't know if it was during this bar or I think it was during this bar. After this bar closed with a tail and these sell closed bears were able to get out. I thought we probably weren't going to get a bear breakout, so I just exited break even. And then I bought below this week low one at the bottom of a trading range. And during this bar had just closed, and I lost. FX Trade was having issues today. There's been a couple issues here lately, but my platform will shut down on me. I think they finally got it fixed, but my platform shut. So my platform shut down. I saw this bar close, and I thought, okay, that's good. And my platform shut down. And by the time I got it back up, this bar had formed, and my stop was 20 pips lower than here. I think my stop was somewhere down around here. I think right here. And so I saw this bear follow through bar, and I thought that's not good. So I hurried up and exited at this close. I tried to exit with just a scalper's profit loss above this bar, but whenever prices were not reaching up there, I just exited at this close because I wanted to get short. And so then I was unable to get short until this bar closed, and I sold this close, stop above here. I took it as an always in position. I was planning on looking for more scalps to sell. However, it turned into a sell the close bear trend, so I just held with a large profit target. I thought the prices were likely to test somewhere down here from the earlier from Friday's sell-off. So I used a large large target, and I had a stop above the bear breakout. And I took the majority profits below this bull bar. During this bar, so I took like 80% profits here, and I moved my stop to break even, which was here, and then I held the remainder of my position. I did not enter any more positions at that point. I didn't see anything that was that high of probability. Like I said, most of these were swing entries. I considered selling this close, but it wasn't clear at that point if prices were going to form a channel or not. So I just held the remainder, and I took final profits at this close on my other 20% of my position. And I at that point became distracted, and I did not. I should have pushed myself and taken more trades in here and in here, but I did not. Like I said, I'm not perfect, and I often make mistakes. And one of my biggest mistakes is that I hold myself back. So I'm working on pushing myself more. But so, like I said, I did not enter anything in here. And then I knew not to do this, but like I said, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes too. I sold below this bar. It's stupid, I know. But so sell climax reversal up, market's always in long, and what did I do? I sold below on a stop against the always in position. Like I said, lately I've been trying to swing more, and I thought it is a reasonable swing short, probably close to 50% probability, 50-50, but like I said, I tend to pick the wrong swing entries, and so I sold below here on a stop, and I immediately, I knew, before I even took the entry, I knew it was not a great entry, and I thought it was pretty stupid, but I just, so anyway, I exited with the scalper's loss somewhere around up in here. I should have exited above the bull bar, but I thought I'd give it one more bar to see what happened, and that was when I got stopped out above here. So then I wanted to buy these closes, but like I said, I wait for best entries, so I did not get into the next trade until I bought below this bar and took it for a scalper's profit. And since then, I haven't taken any more trades. So I just thought, I know that some of you like to hear the trades that I take, so I thought today would be a good day to do that. So not a bad day. I still ended up with a profit, but I should have made more. Like I said, I held myself back, and something I'm working on. But all right, that's about all I have for today. No time for answering any questions. So talk to you guys later.